Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. If you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe anytime while watching this video, including right now. You don't have to wait till you get to the end, but I hope you stay tuned until the end. I am wanting to follow up on, I say follow up a lot, piggyback off of. I have to retrain my brain. Piggyback off of the last couple of uploads I did. I started talking about the Phaedra Parks being a reality TV show and how she was happily single after being married and how my thoughts about that. And then that kind of morphed into this topic of a principled person, how dating is today and how there doesn't seem to be any sense of vetting for a principled person. I'm a commonality of a person by which you have some things in the long term in common, by which you want to spend long term time with. Everything is so 5 minute rice. Minute Maid, everything's so Minute Maid. Everything is so dating game, swipe to the right, nope, to the left. What's your IG? Do you have OnlyFans? And okay, I'll call you tomorrow, but no, I'm not. It's that dating is so instant mail, in and out, instant it's not back. And no, okay. At first I thought, okay, maybe it's generational because I'm not the 18-year-old, I'm the 28-year-old, okay? But I thought, no, that's not it. It's principles, it's standards, because a lot of things that I see going on, they don't come to me. I don't attract that. Or a friend of mine, my crew. And I thought, okay, well, are we considered uppity? Are we like bougie? That I know I'm not. I'm very earthy. So I started looking at this and I see this pattern where things seem to be just so easy, so instant, so non-committal, in that it's a passing through to the next person and the next person and the next person and next person, next person and next person. Before you know it, there's no person and you're starting all over again. To me, I think that's exhausting. I think it's time wasteful, particularly if you are not in a what I consider um, transferable mode, meaning not wanting to commit right now and not a player either, but really want a solid relationship. I'm referencing all of that because just yesterday on the Breakfast Club, if you ever watched that, and I'm going to put this reference link into the description box for you, where there was a discussion on 15-minute discussion on Karrueche Tran, an actress, I guess to some degree, an actress, and I'm not being shady by saying it that way. She was more famous for dating singer Chris Brown than she is for acting. So that's what I mean by that. But I wasn't being shady. um, about her dating Deion Sanders, who's almost 30 years older. So first of all, back in the day, when a 50-year-old man, a 55-year-old man is dating a 30-year-old chick, they call him either a sugar daddy or the dirty old man across the street who's looking at all the young girls skateboarding down the street or skating down the street in their shorts. And he's just having a reflection from when he was younger. And it was just frowned upon. But nowadays, with all these dating sites and even these sugar daddy dating sites, they get to kind of get away with it to some degree. Since we're talking about standards and principles, therein should be your compass. Dirty old man or dirty old woman, or now they call what they call the cougar. Because if you don't have a standard or a compass or a basement by which you would say, I'm not going that far, you're liable to do anything. Therein is this discussion. So the discussion on Karrueche Tran is that she's dating Deion Sanders, who is, again, about 30 years older than her. And what's so odd about that is the various different people that they had either known or dated before. Because Deion Sanders was in a 12-year relationship with businesswoman producer Tracey Edmonds, who was once married to Babyface and has, I think, 2 or 3 children with him. And then she was once married, short, brief time, to Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy has had several. It's all of this zigzagging around where you can't say, I'm not dating you because you dated this person and that person, but the overlapping dates by which they were dating meant that that other person was in existence. And the discussion for Karrueche Tran in particular is that, is it okay, or how do you look at, now I'm going to drop it in the description box so you can decipher for yourself. How do you look at a woman who is dating, who was once your boss, her husband, or her would-be husband? Because Tracey Edmonds and Deion Sanders were together for about 12 years, and they were engaged for 3 years. And then they broke it up in, I think, 2023. Well, so let's talk about standards. First of all, I'm not going to be hanging around shacking up with you for no 12 years and you're not going to put a ring on it, first of all. So there's a standard right there. Secondly, if you do put a ring on it, it's not going to take you 4 years to say I do about it. You're not going to use up all my years. So what you think this is? No. So having said that, Karrueche Tran was in a movie called Games People Play right around 2020 when Tracey Edmonds was engaged to Deion Sanders. And now she's dating Deion Sanders. That definitely, to me, that breaks girl code. Now, that's why I said, is it generational? Is it standards? Is it principles? Is it morality? Is it, L7 square over here? Is it just like, catch up to the times or what? No, it's not, because here's the thing that you tend to forget about that. And let me break it down to you real quick, real quick. And I'll drop that in the description. There is this thing called karma, and it does not play. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you think. Karma is real. And so when you mistake a relationship, mistake and misuse a friendship, a partnership, karma stores that up for such a time by which it will visit you. Now, in some prior videos, I did almost like a series on karma, because people always want to sick karma on you. Karma is not that. So when people talk like that, I say to myself, they don't understand energy. Even when someone doesn't recognize a good partner for them, or recognize even a potential, a soulmate, which is very rare, when they don't recognize it, you have to give the person what I call an ignorant pass. They don't understand energy. Now, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm trying to be truthful and respectful, and I don't want to appear bothersome to someone who may have such an occurrence. Here's the thing. When you deal with that, there's only so many passes for your ignorance. I mean, there's only so many where you'll be excused for your ignorance, because the training for that is occurring with each choice you have, each opportunity you have, each lesson you have, each occurrence you have, each relationship you have. Those are all learnings by which now the universe is saying you should have gotten it. and then it comes for you. Because when you're dealing with true karma, there is no backing off once karma comes. It comes to stay, to slay, to finish, and it is not easy on anybody. So when I see things like this, I reflect to myself. Now, this, you don't have to agree. This is not only an opinion piece. If you study energy for yourself, if you study the dynamics of contributory kindness to people, you understand that the planet is designed by which disrespecting intentionally is never excusified. It's just not. So this is why when people ghost people and I go, they go, that can come back for you. So in this situation, when you have this Karrueche Tran now dating her bosses, who is Tracey Edmonds, fiance at the time, and now living with him or shacking up with him now and posting all this stuff. And then she was in a relationship that was disruptive with Chris Brown. And then she was later in a relationship that was feisty with an NFL player, Victor Cruz, for a couple of years. All of this is her own toxicity, is what I'm saying. All of this is her own baggage, is her own toxicity, is her own poor choices. And this is what we do when we are not healed and well. A lot of times a person can get well and they're not healed, or they can get healed and they're not well. It's not until you are both healed and well that you make better choices, is what I'm saying. So when I listened to this piece on the Breakfast Club just yesterday, I was stunned by and you might agree too. I'm all good with that. But the majority of opinions was what I call excusified. Well, they're not dating anymore. Well, she's gone on to someone else now. Well, Deion is available. Well, it's not like she was dating him at the time. Well, they're two consenting adults. Everything is an excuse to do what you want to do in your underlining shady ways. And so before I started uploading this, I hear myself, let me get myself to a point of better relationship segues. When I saw this, I just did a brief look at all of their dating histories. Tracey Edmonds had done it too. She was married to Babyface, the singer. Oh, I love his voice. Babyface, and bore 2 or 3 children with him, and then left him for Eddie Murphy. And then they got married in Bora Bora, but it wasn't legal. So they were not ever legally married. But a year later, Eddie Murphy had a baby with Spice Girl Mel B, who he didn't claim, but is now his baby. And then Deion Sanders was in all these different relationships. He was playing. All of this, you attract your tragedy. You attract your toxicity. You attract your baggage. This is why they come together. So when you see a person who is healthy and whom I call have a standard or a principle, if the person is healthy, they don't attract that. They don't want it. They don't attract it. And if you bring it, they may be interested in you. They're only going to tolerate so much of it. And you need to self-correct or they're gone, because they're well. They don't date that way. They don't date the player. They're not interested in the game. They're not interested in the cross revolution of people. They're not interested in any of that, even though it may be common today. They're not on OnlyFans. They don't do IG sexy pictures, this and all that, and makeup all over it. They're not trying to sexify themselves. They're already sexy. They're sensual. And so when you have a person like that, male, female, woman, man, whomever, The care of their persona is their virtue. The intolerance speaks before they say a word, when they enter a room, because they carry a sense of decency by which you're not playing with. That person is not at the strip club as a guest or on a pole. They're just not. Now you can go and have that, but that's not marriage material. And that person, such as Karrueche Tran and all this cross-referencing, none of those men married her. And here she is, beautiful to look at. So this is what I mean by my last video of the principled person is rare. I see nothing that's not attractive. I think Karrueche Tran is just beautiful, but she's easy. This is me. These are my words. These are my words. She carries the toxicity because you see it in her choices. She doesn't have the strong enough sense of self-esteem and femininity to be able to turn a person down because they are not at her energy level or her spiritual level because her own is so damaged. Well, how do you say that, Sheri? Why do you say that? She was on Iyanla, Fix My Life, like crying all over the place for Chris Brown. Now, I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. But she didn't get healed then. So this is what I mean about carrying on the toxicity. When a person is well and balanced and drama free, they don't want any of that. They don't care how fine you are, what you may have to offer, how you may bring them up in life, what you have achieved in life, what you may decide that is a great offer of interest in. They are not, they cherish their peace. They cherish their peace, is what I'm saying. So when you see all of this, it's non-negotiable to the person who doesn't want that. Now, I'm going to end here because I feel a little bit off track giving the examples, but I'll drop them in the description box because I think I made my point. But let me end with this. Of all of my videos, the greatest number of views always come from 3 different areas, and I've mentioned this before. It's when I either give honor to someone who recently passed, in which I am loving to respect that person at the time, or it's based on some type of relationship like this, whether it's a sibling, no matter what the relationship type is, but talking about getting along, treatment, you meant to treat that person, treatment. Our third, and really the third one is probably the most potent, because when I do this topic, people watch it to the end and they repeat watch because I see it in the analytics. And that is when I talk about karma. I know a thing about karma because I know a thing about energy. And I would say the number one thing is that people have not been able to recognize that karma is not something you sick on a person. Karma is not something that you wish on a person. Karma is not something that's always bad. There is also good karma. It's what you, it's almost like you reap what you sow. It's the things that you've been doing, and now they are repaying you. They are reharvesting. They are coming back by what you put into them. So when you treat people some kind of way, especially when they have entered your life to enhance your life, and you didn't take advantage of that, the universe comes, not the person. The universe comes for the come get it. Why? Why do I say that? Because the universe sent the person in the first place. And you or I or anyone else do not get an option when the universe is involved. And when the karma comes, it will come to teach the parts of the lesson that you didn't get, is what I'm saying. So that's a part of it too. So when I see relationships like this, now it's not to say that Deion shouldn't date whom he wants, but then you have this 30-year age difference, and it's a lot of different toxicities where I would go, no, I got to pass on that. Yeah, sure, you're great, but yeah, no, I'm not energetically available. I'm not in, and that for me is where I can stop the line like that. Not available to you anymore. Okay. Anyway, I hope this video makes sense to you, and I hope you like it. I hope you click like. If you gotten this far, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys. Bye, guys. It's not letting me go. My computer just freezing. Oh, what's my computer up to? Okay, come on. I do like to use it in my office. Bye.